Hello friends, welcome back to the second part of Frank Condon principle. In the previous part, we have already discussed about the statement and types of vibronic transitions along with their explanation according to the Frank Condon principle. And this is Dr. Priyanka Singh from the Department of Chemistry, Government Digvijay PG Autonomous College, Rajnandgaon, Chhattisgarh. I'm welcoming you to the next part of this Frank Condon principle. We'll discuss about the approximate mirror symmetry. The Frank Condon principle is applied equally to the absorption and fluorescence phenomenon. Absorption and fluorescence, both the phenomenons follow the Frank Condon principle, or it can be applied to both these processes. Approximate mirror symmetry results from Frank Condon principle applicability to absorption and fluorescence along with Kashas principle. If we are talking about the application of Frank Condon principle to fluorescence and absorption along with Kashas rule, then a phenomenon known as a process known as approximate mirror symmetry results. What is Kashas rule? In the electronic excited state, molecules quickly relax. If the molecules are present in the excited electronic state, then they are unstable. Then they need to get stabilized, and they do so by emitting certain amount of energy and coming back to the ground state. So if a molecule is in the excited electronic state, then it tries to relax quickly to the lowest vibrational level of the lowest electronic excited state. Here it is said that the molecule will try to return to the lowest possible vibrational energy level, that is V is equal to 0, for the lowest electronic excited state. From there, it can decay to the electronic ground state via photon emission. This is known as Kashas rule. Means, first of all, if a molecule is in excited state, then it will come to the lowest vibrational energy level V equal to 0 of the lowest excited electronic state. From there, it will decay down to the ground electronic energy level through emission of light energy, photons. This diagram shows the ground state energy level E0 and the first excited state electronic state E1, and this figure shows these fluorescence and absorption spectra for the transitions 0 to 0, 0 to 1, 0 to 2, 0 to 3, 0 to 4, 0 to 5, 0 to 6 transition in case of fluorescence and absorption. First thing is that equal shape of the ground and the excited state potential wells results into symmetry. The ground and excited state potential wells have equal shape. This is responsible for the symmetry seen in this spectrum. Dilute gases produces narrow lines in the spectrum. Dilute gas will produce the Lorentzian curves or the narrow lines which are seen in the fluorescence and absorption spectrum, whereas the liquids and solids produce darker curves due to inhomogeneous broadening of same transition. In case of liquids and solids, the same transition, that is 0 to 0, 0 to 1 and so on, transitions show inhomogeneous broadening. Therefore, the narrow lines will convert to broader curves in case of solids and liquids. Electronic 0 to 0 transition have the same energy in both absorption and fluorescence. You can see that the 0 to 0 transition has the same energy in both the cases, fluorescence spectra and absorption spectra. Now comes the quantum mechanical formulation. If an electrical dipole transition takes place from initial vibrational state V of ground electronic level epsilon to a vibrational state V dash of excited electronic state epsilon. Here we are talking about a vibronic transition taking place from the ground energy level epsilon, electronic energy level epsilon, and the vibrational level involved will be V, and the transition takes place to the excited state, the excited electronic energy level is denoted by epsilon dash, and the corresponding vibrational energy level is represented by nu dash, v dash. So mu is equal to mu e plus mu n. This is equal to minus e summation of ri to I plus e summation of zj to zrj, where mu is equal to molecular dipole operator, mu is electronic dipole operator, mu n is the nuclear dipole operator, minus I is the charge of the electron, plus z E is the charge of nuclei, Ri is the location of the electron, and Rj is equal to location of the nuclei. What is dipole moment? Dipole moment is the product of the charge and the distance between the two charges present in the dipole. So here for the electronic dipole moment operator, the charge of the electron will be minus E and its position is Ri. So the product of the two will give the electronic dipole operator, and for nuclear dipole operator, the product of the charge of nucleus, which is plus Ze, and its position capital R, the product of these two will generate the nuclear dipole operator. P is equal to psi dash mu psi is equal to integration of psi dash star mu psi d tau. In the second equation, P is equal to probability amplitude for transition between the above mentioned two states. Psi is the overall wave function of the initial state, and psi dash is the overall wave function of the final state. Overall wave functions are the product of vibrational, electronic and spin wave functions. That is, the psi which we have used in the last equation is a product of psi electronic, psi vibrational and psi spin. So it can be written as psi is equal to psi E into psi V into psi S. Now the Born-Hafen approximation says that electronic and vibrational wave functions are separable. We have already seen in this approximation that the electronic and vibrational energy levels or the wave functions are considered to be separate. Therefore, it will be separated in the next equation. It is the fundamental assumption of Frank-Condon principle as well. Frank-Condon principle is also based on Born-Oppenheimer approximation. The probability amplitude P can be represented in terms of separate electronic space, spin and vibrational contributions by combining equation 1, 2 and 3. We'll combine the equation 1, 2 and 3 and we'll express the probability amplitude P as a function of in terms of the electronic space, spin and vibrational contributions. P is equal to, we had seen P was equal to the integral of psi dash star mu psi. So we'll replace psi dash with psi dash electronic, psi dash vibrational, psi dash spin, and similarly psi will also be replaced by psi electronic, psi vibrational and psi spin. And since the molecular dipole operator mu is equal to the sum of mu e plus mu n, therefore we'll replace mu by these two terms. And on solving further, the equation which we'll get is integration of psi e dash star psi v dash star psi s dash star mu e psi v psi s d tau plus integration of psi e dash star psi v dash star psi s dash star mu n psi e psi v psi s d tau. Means the equation, previous equation number 4 has been broken into two parts. The first part will separate it into the electronic space, vibrational and spin forms. So what we'll get is integral of psi v dash star psi v d tau n into integration of psi e dash star mu e psi e d tau e, integration of psi dash star s psi s d tau plus integral of psi dash star e psi e d tau e, integral of psi dash star v mu n psi v d tau v, integral of psi dash star s psi s d tau s. If it will be, since it is quantum mathematics is involved here, so it is tough to understand by listening to the audio video for the first time, so you'll need to repeat it 2 to 3 times to understand these equations. So it's my suggestion to do so. The first part of the first integral of the first part of the equation is known as Franck-Condon factor. The second part, which is the electronic space factor, so this is the this shows the orbital selection rule, and this spin integral shows the spin selection rule. The first integral of the second term of the equation is equal to 0. Why? Because the electronic wave functions of different states are orthogonal. The wave functions for the electronic state, one is for the initial state and second one is for the excited state. Ground state, psi e stands for the electronic wave function of the ground state, and psi dash e stands for the wave function of the excited state. So the wave function of two different states is involved in this integral, and the wave function, electronic wave function of different states are orthogonal. Therefore the value of this integral would become 0. The spin independent part of the integral, initial integral, is as follows. If we'll leave the spin part, then we'll get spin independent part. So it will be represented as integral of psi dash star v psi v d tau n, integral of psi dash e stars mu e psi a d tau e. We'll get the vibrational and electronic space part. The integral psi dash star e mu e psi e d tau e is called as the transition dipole surface. Its factorization would be exact over the spatial coordinate if the electrons would not depend on the nuclear coordinates. So this transition dipole surface is basically the integral of electronic space. If we assume that the electron does not depend on the nuclear coordinate, then its factorization would be quite easy. But the thing is, it depends on the nuclear coordinates, therefore it is a function of the nuclear coordinates, but this dependence is quite smooth, therefore it is neglected. The dependence is neglected. Intensities of electronic transition. The value of probability amplitude for transition, which is denoted by P, is determined by all the selection rules. The probability of a transition will be depending on all kind of selection rules. In the previous equations we have seen the orbital selection rule and the spin selection rule, but the probability amplitude P depends on the spin selection rule, which contributes the largest, and this is followed by the electronic or orbital selection rule. Means the value of P depends on all the selection rules, but the contribution of spin selection rule is higher as compared to the orbital selection rule. Since the probability amplitude of a transition is high, then absorbance will be high, and the molar absorptivity value or the extinction coefficient epsilon value will also depend on the value of probability amplitude. So in this table, from the values obtained for epsilon, we can see that for the spin and orbitally allowed transition, the value of epsilon ranges between 10 to the power 3 to 10 to the power 5, which is a very large amount. Whereas for the spin allowed but orbitally forbidden transition, the value of epsilon ranges between 1 to 1000, 10 to the power 0 to 10 to the power 3. Spin forbidden but orbitally allowed transition shows the epsilon value of 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power 0. So if the transition is allowed according to both the selection rules, then we get a very high value for epsilon, whereas if it is only spin allowed, then we'll get a little lower value, but this value is much higher as compared to an orbitally allowed but spin forbidden case. These are the differences. Thank you.